All right, so this is the field that the cattle are currently in. We just moved the cattle in here, so an hour ago they really haven't been over this field or grazed anything yet at this point. And you can see the ground is pretty well covered. The overhead angles are kind of neat. You get to see what the sunshine sees, or vice versa, how the plant collects sunshine. You see the structure of the taller plants, the sunflowers. The native warm season grass here is probably 3 feet tall. So you get to see some neat structure, and you get to see that your field is not uniform as you think when you're walking across. You can kind of see some, I don't really know if they're not bare spots or just drouthy spots or whatever. Anyways, that's the first field where the cows are currently at. Now we'll fly over here. You can kind of see where around the water tanks, we got some bare areas. They're watering right there under the drone now. And when you cross that line around the tanks there, we're now into the field that we just moved them out of. So they were in this field for about 1 week's time. And you can see the vegetation, plant-wise and species-wise, is just like the last field we looked at. But you can see a lot more bare areas. You can see some trailing where they walked and knocked grass down, different things. So anyways, this is what the field that they came out of looked like. So it's now ready for, I can tell from looking overhead, it is ready for a rest period to get its solar collector going again. We've sure opened it up, consuming quite a bit of the grass. The ground's covered with the knockdown, so that makes good mulch for later. But anyways, that's kind of what they look like as we move out. This was probably a moderate graze, I would call it. It's not a heavy grazed field. As we get down closer, you can see some of the big blue stem more plainly. The grass blades that are knocked down. You got a sunflower kind of a little bit left of center. Anyways, that's kind of what it looks like after they pastured it. Moderate pasturing here, as in grazed it moderately hard. There up under the tree, you can see a lot heavier graze. Probably more foot action, hoof action than a heavy graze. Now, as we cross this road you see behind the vehicle, we will be moving into a field that's had 1 week's rest. The livestock was in here 1 full week ago, and it was probably a moderate graze, maybe a little lighter graze than the last field we looked at. You can tell that we've already started to recover our solar collector. A lot less bare ground and more vegetation that's collecting sunshine. As we go down here a little closer, you can see the structure of the sunflowers, and the grass is back a little bit. It's a little jumbled looking. Looks like it's a little wind blown. That would be from the trailing and whatnot of the livestock. Not so much the wind. As we come up, more the view we're used to looking at grass in. You can kind of see this was moderate graze. We probably took half the vegetation off and left half. There's a heavily knocked down spot along the edge of the poly wire from before. The road was the poly wire. The road, so now we're on the side of it's had 2 weeks worth of rest, and it was grazed pretty heavy up here right by the road. You can kind of see a difference. On this side wasn't grazed as heavy with 1 week's rest, and then we'll go back across the road, and they wanted to come right up by the poly wire because that was their next move. You can see a little more knockdown and whatnot there. We'll get out here away from the poly wire a little bit, and then we will go down and kind of look at the vegetation. So you kind of 2 weeks worth of rest here on a little heavier graze section. It's growing back nice. Don't see any bare ground. It's pretty well starting to recover, covering the ground. So here in this field we're at, this has been 2 full weeks of rest, 2.5 full weeks, 2.5 weeks of rest or so. anyways, this is where the cattle, but since it was grazed last, there is one new species there. The finer looking green one is willow leaf sunflower. The others, same sawtooth and max you see in the other plantings. So it's gotten fairly tall. The sunflowers have really regrown. I could see the native warm season grass down between the sunflowers as we go up a little bit. And you can kind of start to see this is, like I say, this is recovered for 2.5 weeks. A lot of times that'd be 14, 15, 17, 18 days. And so it's not ready to be regrazed, but as far as capturing sunshine, you've got the ground completely covered. All the solar panels are out, and you're recovering nicely. Now we'll fly over to where we'll move the cattle to on their next move. So this one they have not been in for about 4 weeks, and it would be, so that'd be a full 20, let's just call it 30 days recovery time period. And we'll look at it and see what it looks like before we put the cows in. And this video is just kind of to give you a feel of how we're rotating livestock. So, rotation doesn't have to be the wagon wheel type grazing or whatever. It's just how you move through your pastures in a matter to graze and then let it recover. And then you move on and you graze another spot and then let it recover and keep going. And you can divide them up with more polywire or less and still have a rotational grazing system. Some people are moving 3, 4, 5 times a day. Some people move every day. I like to move about once a week. I don't like moving polywire all that much, so I just do it kind of on a schedule that works for me. We got other things we're doing besides just moving cattle. And with the native warm season, the native diversity, I don't find that you really have to have all that tight of management to still get good utilization and good ability to have forage available, particularly this time of the year. We're in the late spring, early summer. If you don't have plenty of grass, now you're going to be in trouble later. The kind of silvery looking, the whitish looking plants are fleabane daisy. They're a native wildflower, but it's not one that we typically we don't sell. But just kind of interesting. You can see it there, and you won't see it as much in the other fields because they've all been grazed since it started blooming, and the livestock have consumed it. So you can kind of see your warm season grass there. Not much bare ground. This field's got a little sparser of a stand of grass overall and less sunflowers in it. And that's just due to the way the planting came on. It's not planned.
We at Hamilton Native Outpost make these videos to share the unique knowledge that we have gained from over 40 years of working with native plants as we raise and sell native grass and wildflower seeds. If you found this video helpful, we need your help to get the message out. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment. It helps others to find us. Thank you.